Hey guys, it's Mario here. I'm in Valencia, Spain right now, and what you see behind me, it's called the Palau de la Música. Pretty awesome place to check out. And in this video, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about how many reps and sets you should be doing to build muscle. And this is a question that I get a lot. I get commonly asked, just because I talk a lot about volume, I talk a lot about those reps times sets times weight, and how do you actually implement that, and what is the appropriate amount? Because we know that more volume, more growth, more volume, more growth, to a certain point. And once we reach that certain point, at that point you're growing less because volume also stimulates overtraining. So there's really a sweet spot between overtraining and undertraining where you need to be. And it's a common question, well, what is that range? Like, what should I be aiming for? And if we really summarize all the good research that we have, and we're really fortunate to have that research at this point in time, we can confidently say that we need about 80 to 210 reps per muscle group per week. And that's a big range, I know, but it's a good guideline, it's a good starting point where we can kind of structure the workout plan. We can see what is the amount of volume that we're getting results with, how much, if we're not, we can keep adding more, and we know in which range we need to stay in. That comes about 10 to 20 sets per muscle group per week, right? And it's a good range, we can play around with that a lot. And how do you structure that? I mean, which reps? Well, look, for reps, we know that we want to stay somewhere between 1 and 15. And depending on what your goal is, whether it's primarily size and you don't really care so much about stuff like powerlifting or general strength, you might want to base 3/4 of your volume of those reps and sets to come from that range of 6 to 12. That would be sometimes including some work with 12 to 15 and some work below that 6 range when you would solely focus on strength. And those would be kind of the exceptions. If your goal is strength, if your goal is powerlifting, if your goal is to primarily increase your strength, and at that point you would want to base about 2/3, 3/4 of your volume from those lower repetitions, maybe go as high as 8 and sometimes include higher than 8, but most of your work will be in that 3 to 6 range, 3 to 5 range, where you would really primarily work on building that strength. And that's the range. And then again, the question is, well, how many times a week should I be training a muscle group with these like 80 to 210 reps per week, right? So depending really on what you respond to and what's your training gauge. And you can structure that into hitting each muscle group twice or 3 times or even 4 times. I would generally recommend that most people would be best off with hitting that moderate kind of approach, with really balanced approach, where you'd hit each muscle group 2 or 3 times. Because if you think about it, if you're hitting a muscle group 3 times a week, you can go up to 70 reps per session, and that's a ton of volume. That's a lot of hard work. Anything going above 70 reps per session, I would argue that you can't really aim for that quality of reps, because you know that the longer the workout is, the less quality you can actually put in, less effort you can deliver for those muscle groups, and then you will stimulate them less, your technique will suffer, and there's really a limit of how much we can do in one single session. And when you get closer to those needs of 210 reps per week, at that point you might want to consider doing those frequencies of like hitting each muscle group 3 times a week. But for most people, and including myself in this situation, I can't get enough volume in just hitting each muscle group twice a week. I can't do that. I'm typically hitting between 110 and 140 reps per these big muscle groups. And that's perfectly fine for me to incorporate it into 2 days a week per muscle group. And that's just the way it is. And how do you kind of determine, okay, in that range where you need to be? Well, look, if you're constantly recovered and if you're not making progress, you probably need to increase volume. If you're constantly suffering from overtraining, if you're just joints aching, you lost kind of the drive to go to the gym, you're just in pain all the time and you're not making progress, well, you probably need a deload and you need to decrease that volume over time and try to see what's the sweet spot. Probably overtraining all the time, and that's something where you need to like take a step back. If you're not sure where you're at, listen to your body, listen to what your body is telling you. Google some signals of overtraining, like insomnia, things like aching joints, pain, like you're not making any progress, you feel like crap, and all these other kind of signals that you guess you get to know your body over time, and you know when your body is telling you, hey, you're doing too much, and at that point you need a structured deload in your workouts, like fifth every 6th week, and at that point you lower that volume and give yourself some rest so you can continue to make gains. It's really about finding that sweet spot, and with anything, balance is really the key. So as I said, you want to stick between 80 to 210 reps per week. That's going to be 10 to 20 sets. Per session, it's going to be about 40 to 70 reps per muscle group. Let's say how this would look like in a workout for chest. You know, let's use chest as an example. So let's say day 1, you would hit 2 different types of exercises. Exercise number 1 would be, let's say, 3 sets of 5. That would give you a total amount of 15 reps. And then let's say you would do another workout, another exercise that day in that same workout, which would be like 3 sets of 8. That'll be 24, and 24 plus 15. Let's say you would get 39 reps on that first time. So you're in that range of like 40 to 70 in the first workout. Then in the second workout, let's say second time you're hitting chest that week, your aim is more of a hypertrophy repetition range. So at that point, maybe you do 3 sets of 10 as your first exercise. That's 30. And the second exercise, maybe you do another 3 sets of 10. That's 60. Or you do just 2 sets of 10. So that would be, let's say, just 50. And then you have another 20 reps where you can do just 1 set of 15 to finish off, or you can do a little bit more depending on still staying in that range of 40 to 70, maybe going a little bit over. You know, it's not like if you go 71, it's not like that you're gonna get overtrained, but you definitely wanna stay around that number. And that's basically how many exercises you can kind of incorporate in this range. And if you do need more volume, you see there's a limit how much you can put here. You would add a 3rd day in the week where you would need to hit chest, and at that point maybe a 3rd day where you would hit about 40 to 70 again. And that's pretty much how you structure this, and that's really all you need to know about how many sets and reps you should aim for. It's very similar for the big muscle groups. For the smaller ones, they already get hit pretty hard with your big compound movements, so you technically don't need to go very high. So maybe only about 80 extra reps of like direct isolation work for these muscle groups, such as like your biceps, triceps, maybe some lateral raises type of work, maybe some direct shoulder work. I mean, these muscle groups will already get hit, like stuff like calves. That's where you want to do experiment how much volume you need. And it's really about experimenting, knowing your body, but know that range. I'm gonna leave all of this in the description below as well, like a quick summary for you guys to kind of look at your workout plan, calculate all the volume you're doing, and see if it matches the research, see if it matches that range that I discussed, and then you can make adjustments according to that and listen to your body and see what it needs. So hope you guys enjoyed this quick video on how many sets and reps you should be doing. As always, if you have any questions, shoot me a question in the comments below. As always, I look at all of those, and keep working hard, keep hustling, keep working hard in the gym, progressing. That's really what it's all about. Hit that subscribe button to support the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.